Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And joining me, as always, are my co-hosts from the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks podcast, Trav the Trash Man Martin and Rebellious D. How you fellas doing today?
Hi.
Dang. Ready to rock.
Oh, hi.
Okay.
Oh, hi,
right.
D.
Well, guys, it is good to have you here. And today we are doing a review for Star Wars Visions, which just came out on Disney Plus, and we are all excited to be doing this review. And before we get into it, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says,
podcast in the description. Like, follow, subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. But hold on, who's this?
Wait,
hold on. Is that who I think it is?
Oh, snap!
Is that
This man
is
pulled
that
it out on us.
Bagging Danny Kramer with the lightsaber? What is good, bro?
What's good, guys?
hey.
With the studio upgrades, I see.
Oh yeah, just a little bit. I got myself a stand. I got my CM47 and CM87. Excuse me. And yeah, just doing really good. You know.
Yeah.
So
Hey, I see you leveled up, man. You look
yeah,
good.
just a little bit. Just a little bit. But yeah,
Right. Well,
you
that's what
guys
happens
too.
when-
Thank you.
That's what happens when you join Leveling Up.
Exactly. That's exactly. It all came from this.
Man. Hey, we've all grown, since we had you up here with us, Danny. Y'all can check out Danny's episode either on our podcast or it is here on our YouTube channel. Danny, he's a voice actor and he's a very talented one at that. And
Oh, thank you.
oh yeah, for sure. And we've had him on some of our reviews here on the channel as well. And I wanted to surprise you guys tonight. I hit up Danny because he's a huge Star Wars fan. As you guys just saw, he had the lightsaber, and I was just like, who better to join us on our review for Star Wars Visions tonight? So Danny, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So
You're welcome. You're welcome, Danny.
Hey, get him, Trav.
Look at this guy. Trav, still my joy, man. It's like he's claiming it. It's like this guy. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into this review. Like I said, we've been excited and we've been waiting to, check this series out. And I remember when it was originally announced and they were doing an actual Star Wars anime. What's that?
Star Wars Visions.
There it is on the iPad.
That is correct.
We were hyped, and it's anime, it's Star Wars. It's like they combined two things that we all love here, and they knocked it out of the park. And I can't wait to hear you guys' opinion on everything, and I want to share my opinion. So let's start off with the first episode, The Duel. It was done by Kamikaze Dogo, and I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a good opener to this series. Trav, what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's the banger. I mean, it's the highlight of the series. I mean, this is why they got a book coming out through it. You know what I mean? This was their pinnacle episode to launch this series with. So that, right? So there you go.
Yeah, I didn't know that they were coming out with a book for this one.
Oh yeah, I already pre-ordered. It comes out October 12th. Star Wars Ronin, and
Nice.
yeah, pre-order it.
Danny?
Yeah, well, I got strong Seven Samurai and Rashomon
Correct.
vibes from it, which is exactly what Star Wars, George Lucas took inspiration from
Yep.
for Star Wars. So this is very much going back to Star Wars' roots in a funny sort of way. And I really loved it. I loved the whole atmosphere. It's so funny. Some of the designs remind me of stuff from like the Animatrix, but that was a very similar effort.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Yep.
But I really I enjoyed the Sith Lord. She was like
Yeah.
really awesome. I love the umbrella
Yep.
weapon that she had. But then I love that when she saw that a Jedi came, she was like, "Oh, none of this BS. We're just gonna do like regular sword
That
fighting."
traditional,
Right,
traditional
so-
one-on-one. Mhm.
But it was a really great mix, a really great blend of like 3D and 2D animation. Well, not really 2D, like cell shading rather. I should
Yeah.
say.
Well,
Right, yeah.
You know,
Yep.
and yeah. So yeah, I liked it a
But
lot.
to piggyback off of what you were saying, I mean, it is a combination of the both. So I looked up the studio that did this episode, and they are the same studio that does the openings for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. You know, I had to include the JoJo reference, and
It makes sense, though.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah,
that's something that they specialize in, is combining 2D and 3D animation. So, you know, as soon as I saw JoJo, I was just like, no wonder.
I'm just glad that they got to be a part of something good for a change. You know, I mean, hey, they put in a lot of hard work, and they deserve it. They deserve it. You know.
What was your thoughts on the duel?
And I love the premise of having this wanderer, and come to find out he collects these Sith gems, you know, and
it was the kyber crystals.
Yes, the kyber crystals, and it was just it was interesting. But like Danny said, I got very strong Seven Samurai or Samurai 7, whichever ones you've seen. And it's just it seemed just like that. So he seemed like he fit right in on the cast of that anime or movie. So pretty sweet.
And one interesting thing, I'm so sorry.
Oh no, go
Benjamin.
ahead.
One really interesting thing is that almost all of these episodes, I swear they must have had some sort of like premise that they pitched to all the studios, but all of these episodes, almost all of them had kyber crystals as a central part of the story. I noticed that, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it seemed.
Go ahead. Piggyback off of what you were saying, Danny. I just love the fact that each episode features either a Jedi in it or a Jedi versus a Sith. Like, that's one of the things that I love about Star Wars is the Jedi versus the Sith, lightsabers. Like, that's what brought everybody into the party back when Star Wars first started. And I love that they expanded on the universe by showing that there are still Jedi and there are Sith out here in this galaxy compared to, you know, what we see in the movies and stuff, because it's like, it's kind of similar to Dragon Ball Z in a way where it's like Vegeta was like, me, you, Nappa, and Raditz, we were the only Saiyans left. But it's just like with this, it's like, no, like there's a bunch of Jedi out there. There's a bunch of Sith. So that's something that I like. But D, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that it also appears in all these stories that they take place like years after everything's said and done. And I like that pitch a lot. Yeah, I'm not really, they didn't give us any time period specifics, but you could just obviously tell, everything seems to be kind of like in a disarray in most of them. And
well, the piggyback off of something that you always say, D, how you always mention in One Piece, because there's so much, water out there on the planet, like they always have so much places to explore. And that's how Star Wars is. It's like this galaxy is so huge. And I know that that's one thing that some of the fans always complained about, was that you don't always have to focus on the Skywalkers. Like there's so many different stories and so many different people in this.
You and I have had that discussion too.
Yeah. And, one thing too that I loved about this was how diverse the cast was. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you saw so many different races, from animals to black people to Asian people to white people. And it's just like in the Star Wars movies, it's like you usually don't see all of that. You know what I'm saying? So that was one thing that I did love about this. In my opinion, I really enjoyed the duel. I thought it was a good way to open up the series. I love the Wandering Samurai. It also gave me Samurai Jack vibes as well. I enjoyed that.
That's a good one.
And I just thought that the whole opening battle, the cinematic, I loved everything was in black and white. And then the only thing that was in color was red, green, and blue, which is usually on color palettes. It's like those are the main colors. It's either black and white or red, green, and blue. So,
which are also the three main colors for the lightsabers too, which I just realized. But
but except that purple one.
And now gold. Now they got gold too.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they do.
Well, they also. Well, and are we still talking lightsaber colors?
Well, that's what I say. Y'all don't sit here and crap on my boy.
Mate.
What is his name?
Mace?
Oh, no, from Mandalorian.
No. Plankton or whatever. Do with the orange
Plankus?
lightsaber.
No,
do with the orange lightsaber. That's on the council.
Are you talking about the dude that has the tentacle?
Yes.
When you were trying to pronounce that, I thought you were talking about Plagueis, and I was about to say Plagueis.
Nah, bro. I cannot remember.
He was like.
And so then we get episode 2, Tatooine Rhapsody, and I don't know about you guys, but I was getting Great Pretender vibes from this one. And I know that we're doing our Great Pretender month here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. But starting with you, D, what was your take on this episode?
Well, it kind of the band kind of reminded me of a space equivalent of Scott Pilgrim, just a little bit.
I like
it. Was very. I liked it. I thought it was pretty light. You got obviously you get Boba Fett in there, little cameo kind of, and it was cool. It was fun. It was light. They used a lot of music in this one, or more than usual, I'll say. And yeah, kept it moving, man. Kept it moving. Trav?
Yeah, it was cool to see Jabba the Hutt in a heartwarming moment where, you know, he pulls the 180 and he sponsors the band or whatever.
Yep.
He was gonna kill the one guy. And,
yeah, I mean, hey, he was doing some normal Jabba the Hutt stuff, and you know, he got a change of heart. They grinched him. That heart grew.
I like that. I like that. They grinched him.
Danny?
Rock and roll and my Star Wars. What? Like but it was really cool. I was thrown for a loop with the art style at first because I thought the character was like a kid, and then I heard his voice and I'm like, what? But then I realized they were going for like the chibi art style, which is you know, and it really, it's just really unique how all of them had their own unique things that they were doing with the styles. But I really loved that they came at the end, you know, for the execution to be like, hey, let us rock out. And if you like it, you got to sponsor us. So like, I liked it, you know, and Jabba was like, you know, wanting to appease the crowd. So he was like, okay, I'll sponsor you. But, yeah, no, I liked it a lot. So it's interesting because the vocalist, he was a Jedi, and, you know, he meets our Hutt after it seems like he failed a Jedi mission or something like that.
Yeah, it's like he was a Padawan. Like I'm looking at it, and this takes place during the Clone Wars.
That's right.
But it's weird because Boba Fett is there, but you know, he was still a kid during the Clone Wars. But that's what the description is, you know, and I'm just gonna ride with it.
That's right. Sometimes you gotta ride with it.
It might be that like a general Clone Wars era, but it could have been like right before A New Hope or something, maybe. Like I like that. That's probably the best time place, right? You know, but sort of. But yeah.
Look at us over here making excuses for their poor.
Hey,
well,
I'm
together. We're like trying to justify it.
Well, that's the thing.
It's like the Dragon Ball Z movies. It's like, wait, when does movie 2 fit into the storyline?
Exactly.
It doesn't, but it's still fun. So you know.
Hey, it was a lot. It would be a lot easier to fit those first 3 DBZ movies in than this.
No, I agree with you.
This is like, what are they? I was just like, let it go.
I don't know, man. Trey might had dead people alive in that one, but that's a whole other discussion. But yeah.
Well, are you talking about the 2 Saiyans?
No, I'm talking about how Tien, Yamcha, and Chaozu were alive.
Well, it depends on where. It just depends on where you put it.
Yeah,
that's what she said.
But I mean, you know what I mean. You can literally put that in before they die and just say it happened.
Honestly, I don't know how Piccolo survived. Like when Turles held his hand out and Piccolo was there on the ground, like,
vaporized him. Yeah.
It's like when I was a kid, I thought he was dead, but I mean, he survived.
Did it scare you?
Nobody dies in the movies unless they want you to die. Everybody but for me, I really enjoyed this episode. I love that they used rock in it. I thought it was funny when they were playing at the bar and the one alien was just like, we've been performing for all these years, and it's like we've never been able to finish a set because something always happens. And the moment that they have the opportunity to play in front of this huge crowd, they knock it out of the park. The people in the crowd, they want an encore, and then the main character, he makes a plea with Jabba, and Jabba's just like, all right, let's do it. So this was a really fun episode. Like how Danny said, it's cool when you put music into the Star Wars universe, because that's something that you normally don't see either. I like that they took a lot of risk with what they wanted to do story wise with the story overall. So moving along, the next episode, we got 2. This was done by Studio Trigger. And the first one is The Twins, which is my favorite episode out of Vision. And I want to start this one off because, like I said, it's my favorite. But as I was getting Luke and Leia vibes if they were evil. And I like that the one twin that he ended up, feeling the force, and he ended up becoming good, whereas the sister, she stayed evil. I thought that the fight between the both of them was awesome. I remember when I saw the initial trailer for this episode, and I saw that she had lights, like it's like she had 6 arms, and I thought that was really cool. But yeah, this was my favorite episode. I really enjoyed it. Trav, what about you?
Yeah, it's also my favorite episode, man. We need more. What is it, Kara and Am?
Yes,
yes. Kara and Am. Hey, we need more of that in Star Wars, man. This, and of course, man, it's Studio Trigger, so you get that Studio Trigger animation, which I'm a huge fan of, and yeah, I really love this episode. Like I said, it's my favorite episode.
Wow. I think it's interesting. I'm going to start my part off, Danny. Hey, Danny, stand back. I got this. No,
it's a hurricane coming.
Yeah. Oh Lord. I'm glad it's interesting. This was both of y'all's favorite episode, huh? Based on animation and story, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
That's interesting because we're not at my favorite. Danny, have we passed your favorite yet?
I have 2 favorites. I can't decide on one. This is one of them, and the other one is pretty soon.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, yeah, mine's is too.
Yeah.
Wink, hint, hint, wink, wink.
Yeah.
Well, D, I just want to interrupt you real quick.
Go for it.
At the end of this, I want to ask you guys, what are your top 3 episodes out of this season? I'll ask that question at the end.
Okay.
Continue.
For sure, you don't want to ask like our top 9.
Oh,
I know how you like to make those long top lists.
I mean, well, what you could have said is, we could go from 9 to 1 and say best to worst. I mean, basically, he's asking us for a quarter. A quarter of this has to be our favorite.
Good though.
It was.
Yeah. There was only one episode that it was good, but I'm gonna wait till we get there.
Hey, I think me and Banks is vibing on this episode, bro.
Yeah, me and Trav usually don't.
Because I think me and him are about to say the same one on the same episode that we thought was me.
Okay, we're gonna get there, but D, go ahead and give your. Oh, here comes D, the simple.
No, but
say it.
I said,
say it. No,
Daddy got the lightsaber. He gonna take you out, D.
Oh, hey. Wait.
He got the electric bolt.
Hey, you know what I'm gonna say?
Hey, I heard it. I heard the sound.
No, but this episode was very fun. I love the having the siblings start off both, kind of being consumed with the darkness. One coming back to light, obviously fun. The animation, great. I love the animation the whole way through, to be honest, in all of them, just about. And I think they're also good, even whichever one you dislike, Banks. I'm sure we'll get to it, obviously, but they're all fun stories as far as Star Wars. It's good to see them opening up and doing more. They have a shit ton of novels, obviously, but it's fun to see them experiment. Danny, final thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so the animation in this was crazy. Oh my god, it was psychedelic, man. They took Trigger took everything they did in Gurren Lagann, Kill la Kill, and Darling in the Franxx. Yeah, right. Exactly. They took everything from that and just crammed it all into this. It's incredible how much story and characterization there is in this 17-minute episode. It's unbelievable. One thing that I loved is that that all of the imagery, and Trigger's so good about this, everything was in duology. It was 2 ships pieced together. Yeah. Anytime that the characters were facing each other, there would be 2 swirling sets of meteorites around them, or there'd be a mirroring of their backgrounds to one another. It was really interesting the way they did it. But I really enjoyed the performances of the actors. And the sister, she had a voice that was a little deeper than I expected, because when I saw her in the previews, I was expecting her to sound like a teenager, but they're both adults. Yes. But I really enjoyed their performances, because it felt like it was Neil Patrick Harris, right? Who did the
Neil
voice
Patrick Harris and Allison Brie.
Right, and I thought it was Cindy Robinson doing her voice, but Allison Brie. But she, I love how she had that sort of upper class kind of dialect that you're used to hearing in Star Wars, and he had the more typical kind of one, sort of showing this sort of thing of him being a little more down to earth, and her being I'm almighty and stuff. And just when he did the lightsaber clashing on the X-wing going into hyperspace. That was so hype.
Yeah,
And they
that was
literally
dope.
took the imagery from episode 8 with the ships getting sliced in half, and I was like,
Yeah, that was dope.
That's how you do
when
that.
When he was on the X-wing and then he turned it upside down, and it just goes to show you like how strong some people can be when it comes to using the Force in this series. Because, and also too, it's like they were both fighting in space. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like another Dragon Ball Z thing where they talk about it's like people can't fight in space because if they fight in space, they'll die. But it's like up here, it's like, of course, too, they were created through cloning.
I was about to say
and
that.
all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's probably the reason they were able to be out there in space and still be able to breathe. We don't know what technology or what advancements were put inside of them so that way that they could be out there doing that. But yeah, this was, like I said, my favorite episode. And I can't wait to say what the other two are later on when we get towards there. But this is the second episode that was done by Trigger, and this one was called The Elder.
Yes.
And this was another really good one. With this one, I was getting
Are you skipping around right now?
Yeah, you skipped all the way to episode 7, bro.
how I
Stay in
have my
order.
list set up, I have it set up so that way it has all of the episodes done by each studio. But yeah, this is episode 7. But yeah, this is The Elder. And like I said, I was getting Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan vibes with this one, but it was told with different characters. I loved how they went on this planet and how I can't remember the guy's name, the Jedi Master. What was his name?
Oh, Tajin.
Tajin, yeah. How he was able to sense that there was a Sith nearby, and then the Sith was able to sense that there was a Jedi Master nearby. And I just love the battle between the both of them and how the only reason why he lost was because of old age. Danny, what were your thoughts on this episode?
I thought the choreography was really awesome. I loved that the Padawan's name was Dan. I was like, yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
No, but I really like both characters. I love how ambitious Dan was, but that the Master was like, no, we gotta take this.
He
slow.
said, "Hold on, Rondale."
Exactly right. You
He
know,
said,
and
drive slow, homie.
And when you saw Dan was like
that old man,
he was
Sith
just
Lord.
like, hey,
Oh,
fun.
he was so
Yeah.
freaky.
mhm.
But yeah, he was so freaky. I loved. It was basically like a sort of re-envisioning of like the Phantom Menace, especially with how the Master at the end was like, I've never encountered like an evil like this before.
Mhm.
Could it really be the Sith and all that kind of stuff? I also
Probably
thought it
why
was
he's
like,
smiling.
right, exactly right. And I thought it was a little freaky. Like his sclera was black and his eyes were yellow, and he's just like.
I
So it
love
was really
seeing
cool.
characters like that though, where they have the reverse pupil kind of
Yep.
thing going on.
Right,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
always
yeah.
fun. Very creepy.
Mhm. What were your thoughts on it?
I like this one a lot. It was very traditional Star Wars, you know, the whole lead up to it. They're investigating something, and then here comes this guy, and apparently he hunts Jedis, basically. And he met his. I love the conclusion of the fight where he just took the 1 minute and he just turned the lightsaber off, side stuff.
Yeah, that was fire.
Yeah,
Yes,
that was
sir.
dope. That was
Yes.
badass.
Yeah, that was
Yes,
great.
I
That was
love
super
that. Yeah, it was just you love seeing stuff like that where they're basically it took both of them to beat him. You know
Yes.
what I mean? And then he explains to the Padawan at the end, you know, I'm descending as you're ascending. You know, basically. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know what they say: the sun will always rise in the north, or something like that.
Yeah,
Rise in the
set in the
east.
south.
That's in south side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, winter coming. That's all.
Yeah.
Winter coming.
Yeah, hey, winter is coming.
Mhm.
Anyway, yeah, Banks has never seen that, so he doesn't get it. But
I have.
Trav, what were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, well, man, you know, anytime that you go out and get, you know, the legendary James Hong involved in the episode, I mean, you know it's going to be fire.
Mhm.
And, I mean, I'm a huge David Harbour fan, too. And well, they even snagged up Jordan Fisher for Dan, you know what I mean? So we getting some Team Pop icons up in here, too.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, this episode was
Well done, man.
incredible,
It
man.
was fire,
this
like you
episode
always
was
say,
incredible.
Trav.
It was fire. I got no complaints, man.
I like that.
I like that.
Yeah, I like it too. What
Hey, that
happened to
means they
episode
was
4, 5, and 6? That's what I want to know.
So that's the next episode 4.
Whoa.
The Village Bride, which was done by Kinema Citrus.
Mhm.
And I thought that this episode was okay. I thought it was okay. I mean, it wasn't a bad episode.
Too many people parts.
I feel like it was too many people parts, but by the time it got to the end of the episode where the Jedi, what was her name? Valko?
Yeah,
Yes.
Valko.
Yeah, that was her name. Okay. Yeah, I thought she was interesting, especially like when she comes into her own at the end of the episode and she becomes the Jedi. She saves everybody in the village. Trav, what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, well, first off, man, I want to give a shout out to Danny. Will appreciate this. Shout out to Stephanie Shea for, she's a anime voiceover icon. You know what I mean? She's voiced so many characters, and now we get her in a Disney Star Wars IP. So congrats to her.
She was
I
also
like this
one of
episode.
the casting directors for this whole series. So
Oh,
nice.
nice. So good.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Damn.
Her
Good
name
for
is
her,
F.
man.
It's not Valko. I apologize about that.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. Cool story, nothing serious, but it was still like cool, cool animation, cool little story. I really don't have any complaints about it.
Yeah, it was
I like
okay.
my man
episode.
here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Any complaints? We just wanted to see what you thought of it. I don't have any. What is it? Got to run through everything goes through Trav.
Hey, I'm just happy that the
Right.
man ain't said
Trust-
anything's trash yet.
Yeah, he said it's good to go. I don't have any
Hey.
complaints.
All Star Wars is good Star Wars, bro. Your boy don't be trashing. no
Even
Star
the
Wars.
Christmas special, the holiday one.
Hey,
Yeah.
thanks. Remember
It
the
is
dude
what it
from?
is.
Remember the guy from Loki? They had to go through like the metal detector kind of thing, and if your attitude was crappy, he'd like zap him.
Yeah.
It's Trav.
Mhm,
Trav was like, I wish you would. Danny, you want to go first?
mhm.
So I really like the character, the
Mhm.
Jedi in this one. I thought she was really interesting, and her internal struggle was really fun to see develop. But I also love that she kind of became enlightened watching this couple go through their wedding ritual, and it was interesting to see this whole kind of fictitious world's wedding ritual happen and everything. It was really interesting. I mean, the groom has to carry the bride all the way to the to the temple and everything. I was like, oh man, that's legit. Okay, but and then it was very interesting how basically the people of this planet, see the memories of their life through basically the Force, but they have a different name for it. And she's like, oh, they're using the Force, and they're like, oh, but we call it this. And I thought that was just interesting.
Very native.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And just and then this is a really this is such a nerdy thing on my part, just as a media person. But so in this episode for our Jedi Knight, her face is half covered most of the time, her mouth and everything. But in the thumbnail for the episode, you see a picture of her without the mask on,
Right.
using the Force. But if you look at it carefully, they have her hand positioned so that it's covering most of her face. So you think, oh, well, we've already seen her face. What's the point of her wearing a mask to hide it? And then at the end, when she takes it off, you see that she has a scar on the side that her hand is hiding. And I think that was clever. It's like it's a very minute thing, but I was like, oh, so that's what she was hiding. But yeah, no, this was a good one. It was a very feeling heartfelt kind of episode. And I think that's good, just to have different kind of stuff there, and everyone did a great job in their performances. So, yeah.
For sure. As far as my thoughts on this one, I definitely still got Samurai 7 vibes, because it's a big part of how they all come together to save a village in the anime and in the movie. And I thought that she just seemed like another one of the samurai, just like the Wanderer would have been another one, because it's basically 7 personalities that come together for different reasons to save a village. And especially with them having the opposing force coming in this episode to kind of try and take over the planet, I guess, or their village. Well, they took all the resources, so I'm gonna say the planet. And I enjoyed her as a character. I like the conflict as well. So
All right.
thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing episode
So
5
this is
or
episode
8?
5, the Ninth Jedi, and this one was done by Production IG. Now, this was a really good one. I love the twist where it's like, we think that all of these Jedi were summoned to the planet.
This is my favorite
Right.
episode
and
right here.
then it's
So
like we
good.
find out that
Also
half
one of my
them are the
favorites.
Sith,
Yes, it's just so
and
fun.
that they killed the Jedi who had got
The beacon.
the distress beacons,
Right.
and yeah, it was a really good episode. And then to come to find out who the Ninth Jedi is, that she's a young girl,
Yeah.
but the Force is very strong in her. This was a really good episode too.
I thought this one was amazing.
That whole sequence when they were on the ice and as she hops off
Yeah,
the
yeah.
motorbike
Mhm.
and she pretty much kills the guy that was chasing after her. That
Yeah,
was dope.
that whole scene was fire.
It was fire, and then like the battle at the Jedi Temple, like it was just awesome.
Yeah.
Starting with you, Danny, what were your thoughts on this episode?
Oh man, this is tied with episode 3 for me. Like
I
this
figured
is
when you said that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Banks took us up the road and we had to come back.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, we gotta wait. All right, that's fine. But this was so cool. Basically, as soon as we started having the characters talk to one another, I was like, oh shoot, one of them's a Sith, isn't it? Like, you knew something was wrong.
Yes.
There's an imposter among us.
Right, exactly, right. But and the fact that the Jedi Master who called them, he looked like a Kylo Ren meets Darth Vader kind of look, and I'm like,
and he was huge,
right? So
I
I'm
was
like, what's going on with us? And then his droid comes, and it's like, oh, the droid is all like ominous and scary, and I'm like, what's going on? But I'm like, it can't be that obvious. It can't be, oh, the master is actually evil. It's like, no, it's gotta be something else going on here.
Yeah.
So then when we see the sword master and the girl, like she was riding the same kind of bike that Rey had, so I thought that maybe she was like inspired a bit from Rey and everything. But so when the master was like, oh, these lightsabers, they're made with special crystals that'll reflect the spirit of the Jedi that holds them, I'm like, okay. So when they start when she finally gets there and she hands out the lightsabers,
and they all
and
turn red.
right when all 6 of them turn red, I'm like, what? I was like, wow, I accidentally turned on my lightsaber. But I flipped out. But as for the rest of the episode, it was so awesome. The fight scene, everything, and they definitely left it on like a cliffhanger. I think all of these episodes are gonna get like follow-up episodes. Like all of them seem like
they have to.
Yeah.
They all of them seem like they could have follow-ups, and this one and episode 3 were the ones that seemed like you could make like a whole season out of them just themselves. But that's enough out of me. So someone else's turn.
D.
I was gonna say that this episode was amazing, just to get the twist where they hand them out. You get the reveal that these will reflect your true intentions, and then it's like, is it like is the best guy in this group gonna turn red, but better yet, they did one better and all 6 turn red. And then my boy is just standing in the middle like, wait,
he's just like, what's going on?
What's going on? You're like, who turned out the lights?
You all they're Sith? What?
Yeah. So I immediately was like, dang, don't tell me they about to get my boy. But no, he was just kind of there, and I thought it was phenomenal. And then you get the traditional kind of, the other thing that I like about this is you never see that many Siths in one spot. Obviously it's just a traditional, the Padawan and then the master. So it's like, that was amazing. I didn't know if they were going to start fighting each other, try and kill the girl that, you don't know because they're Siths. Nobody could have, been able to tell that they were all going to try and work together and get rid of this one Jedi who turned out to be a complete badass. So very fun. I love this one.
Now to piggyback off of what you were saying, because they did kill the Jedi that had got the distress beacons originally, but when they come to the planet, they don't have lightsabers. They get these lightsabers because nobody has any lightsabers anymore, and like that's the reason why the blacksmith was making them, so that way that they could get it. So I'm just like, are these Sith, are they that strong and powerful that they were able to kill these Jedi with normal weapons, with their bare hands? We don't know.
The thing that I was going to say is Sith possess different values in the Force, different abilities. They all have, and then you have to think they're bad guys at the end of the day. Who's to say it was one-on-one? Right. Like this, I'm going to go here and take this guy out, or did they just kill them all collectively? So there's nothing you can really do against 6 Force lightnings. There's nothing.
And I mean, there's tons of Jedi who aren't strong with the Force.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So,
and clearly the one guy, the leader.
Right.
Go ahead, Trav. Keep going. I like that.
But
Keep
no,
going,
yeah,
Trav.
I mean,
me a little
it happens
bit
all the
more.
time when you play a lot of Star Wars games or whatever.
Mhm.
You're kind of fresh as a Jedi. You're not even a Jedi Master yet. So I mean, they just could have lucked out, and it was an easy kill
Correct.
for him.
In fact, the main guy said, I haven't been trained. I don't have a master, but I
Yeah.
can feel the force within me, so I know
Right.
there's something going on. So I bet they were all, like you said, were like that. They
Like
were like
puberty.
force sensitive, So yeah.
Yeah, and the one Sith was clearly the leader, the one who could use
Right.
Force lightning.
Right.
And I mean, he wasn't terrible, but he got dust. You know what I'm saying? He got that combo break.
Also, too, one of the guys that was there, and he said that he wasn't really a Sith, but it was like their influence. It forced him to do what he needed to do to be with them. So it was cool seeing that, like, he reverted back to the Jedi ways and stuff. Because
I wonder if he was supposed to be a mole originally. Well, maybe he was a mole initially because he actually knew the guy.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah,
he knew him by name. So, and then it's funny too because the purple is like that specific lightsaber is made to combat
exactly
Sith. So maybe he was a double agent, and it just got to his head, I guess. But also, the one thing before we move on, Banks, just because you're a Jedi doesn't negate whatever your race or your species, your individual abilities.
Right.
It doesn't though. Like
I'm just laughing because you said species.
Oh, I know why you're laughing, Michael. I mean Arlong. But so who's to say one of them wasn't more equipped to persuade him or play mind games? But yeah, carry on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so that moves us to the next studio, Science Saru, who did TOB1. And this episode,
Astro?
I feel like, it was, of course, it was a good episode, but it's like this one took me back. It, gave me the Mega Man vibes, the Astro Boy vibes, and honestly, like if I just wanted to put this on, like for my nephews that are over here right now, like I would throw this on for them. I think that they would enjoy it just because of how kid friendly it was, how it came off. But at the same time, it had enough action that it could be on the point of something like Dragon Ball. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this was a really fun episode. Trav, what was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, man, this episode's adorable. I loved it. You got the Pinocchio thing going on. And it has that Steven Universe style of drawing where their edges and corners, they don't come to a full point. They're circular.
Yeah,
very simplistic.
It seemed like there wasn't any outlines on the characters for real.
Yeah. They're all bubbles.
Yes.
So what's it called? Yeah, I really, really liked this episode. It was cute.
Mm-hmm. D?
Oh yeah, I thought it was fun. It took me straight back. Isaiah actually has Astro Boy DVDs that he used to watch all the time. That was his go-to, and it made me just want to go look at it one good time. Just seeing the kind of similarities in the art style, it just a little taking it back. It was fun, man. I thought it was light. You got the premise, and then even him coming down and having to fight the droid big robot at the end was very like Astro Boyish because he ends up fighting big robots. So very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that he wanted to be a Jedi, and I mean, of course, too, it had that anime feel where it's just like the main protagonist, he lost his mentor, and then he, through the power of friendship, he powers up so that way that he can beat the robot Sith Lord. But
that's another thing too, another connection, because Astro, he kind of, in ways, he wanted to be a real boy. In this, he wanted to be a real Jedi. So
now, I'm going to say this, but Danny, I want you to go ahead and give your opinion on it. Then I'm going to just drop this little tidbit that I found out about the episode.
I like it
for sure. The whole time I was watching, I was totally like, oh my gosh, this is a throwback to Astro Boy. And they got some Mega Man stuff in there too, because the Doctor, he does look like the Doctor that created Astro Boy, but he favors Dr. Light more.
Yes.
And I'm sure that was intentional and everything, but the music was also techno rock too, which I was like, okay, that's really interesting. But And then, like you said, the Pinocchio inspiration, but it took the form of, it's not that he wanted to become a real boy, but he wanted to become a real Jedi. And the moment that things were at their most critical, the spirit of his mentor slash father, creator, however you want to title it, like knighted him as a Jedi, and he powered up. Now, here's the interesting thing. I've heard theories that the way the Force works, because it connects all living things, there must be life on a planet in order for the power of the Force, the good side, the light side, to be strong. Whereas the dark side is more about solitude and compressing power inside of yourself. So with the robot boy, Toby, as he was helping to plant life, flowers and help bring animals onto that planet, he was actually creating the environment for him to go stronger in the Force, so that when the Sith Lord returned, he could actually draw on enough energy from the planet to defeat him. That's why he was able to beat him when his master couldn't. His master couldn't. There was no Force for him to connect to on that planet. And then when the Sith returned, Toby could do that. So that was my interpretation. But yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, I like that as well. So the little tidbit that I wanted to drop was that in the Japanese dub, Toby is voiced by Masako Nozawa, and she, of course, if you guys don't know who that is the voice actress who voices Goku. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. Of course, I didn't watch this sub, but I do know that Disney, they did include the option so that way that you can watch it in several dubs. So I definitely want to go back and watch it subbed, because that was the when I first saw the trailer, like I watched the sub trailer. I didn't watch the dub trailer, but of course, when I'm at the gym, I like to be able to hear the voices and understand what they're saying when I'm working out, or when I'm doing cardio, that is. So I'm definitely going to go back and watch this, because the animation on this series was awesome. 10 out of 10. And it's like, it's definitely worth a second watch. But now really quick, I just want to give a shout out to the young boy that gave the voice for the robot. He did a fantastic job. I actually want to get his name so I can specifically give a shout out to him, which is I can't get it, but maybe we can put it into the.
It's Jaden Waldman.
Thank you, Jaden. Thank you so much. He did a great job. Great job. So yeah, just want to give that shout out.
Mm-hmm. So now the next episode that we have is Locked and Ocho. Mm-hmm. And this one was another one of my favorites. Like, hey, we all and this one was done by Geno Studio. And I just love the story here. The story of two sisters, and how one of them was adopted into the family because she was a slave who escaped, and they brought her into the family because she saw that, we should help her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's my sister. And then they, of course, grow up, and then they have two different opinions on how everything should go on their planet. And I just like that that Yasaburo, not Yasaburo. What is the little girl's name? Lop. I love that she gets the lightsaber passed down to her, and her sister, she gets pissed off because she's just like, hey, I was the one that was supposed to inherit this lightsaber.
Right. And
another thing that I loved about the lightsaber, which is something that we've seen throughout each episode, is that like each lightsaber, you have your traditional lightsabers, and then you have some of the lightsabers that look like samurai swords. And I love that her lightsaber was that. And then also too, she just seemed like so well versed when it came to using the lightsaber, which is something else that I loved about this episode too. D, what were your thoughts on this episode?
I loved it. It was a traditional story of taking on the adopted child, and they turn out to be more pure of heart than the child that was already there. Mm-hmm. Then you get the clash. And it was just you knew off the bat once you find out that she was like, yeah, let's bring the Empire in. They can help us. What's the problem? It's like, dang, your dad didn't teach you nothing.
She cut that hair.
Like, come on. So
hey, he said I failed as a father.
Well, yeah, he did call it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now he also can't see. So there's that too. But I thought it was fun. I love I like the fact that she wasn't like her species was different. You know, and I thought it was fun. I like rabbit characters.
just
So
say
let's get it. Yeah, species.
Just say it. It reinvigorated your love for furries. Just say it.
God.
Let's get it. Reinvigorated
It's
my
okay.
love for furries.
Thank you.
Trav.
'Cause it did the same for me. It did the same for me.
I like it.
Yeah,
I
it was
like
good, man. Really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Danny.
I thought the animation was gorgeous. It actually reminded me a lot of the original Ghost in the Shell movie, but a little more cartoonish, but just the fluidity of the movement and the environments. And it also felt like the environments were very authentically Star Wars. Like it reminded me, the environments remind me a lot of stuff from episode 1. But then you had like the cherry blossoms and everything. So it was a really beautiful mix of like anime and Star Wars. But the fight scene was amazing. And I really liked the characters a lot. I really did. And yeah, I mean that's all I gotta say. And again, it ends on a cliffhanger sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean the story is
I
resolved,
love
but-
the creepy ending.
Just
We're
like
gonna be a
Marvel.
real family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What if all I imagine was her propping the dead family up on a couch, and it's like she just sits down and turns the TV on or something. It's like, we're gonna be a real family. You know what I'm saying?
And I think it's just really beautiful when you have those kind of stories where maybe the people aren't related by blood, but they share the same spirit. I mean, that means a lot to me. So
Yeah.
I really thought that was beautiful. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you know when she hit her with the cross.
Oh,
Yeah,
And
that was
like
dope.
she fell
That's
back, and then the
Sakuga.
ship came up, and she was standing on it.
Uh-huh.
I was like, "Woo,
Yeah.
fire!"
Yeah.
Hey, that's
That
some Michael vibes, man.
Hey,
That
flawless
was-
victory.
That was one of the best animation cuts. Like, there's a lot of really great animation cuts, but that was like one of the top 10 animation cuts in these group of episodes. That was fantastic.
Oh, for sure.
Very
was
fun.
Yeah, no, your boy loved it, man. It was
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
you
Trav,
can.
hey, what was
These
yours, man? Share your
real
thoughts
quick,
on that
Trav.
episode.
real quick.
Real
The
quick.
whole way through, I really enjoyed the fights and the choreographics and everything they used to get to the point. Like whoever was overseeing it did a phenomenal job. It was just like so many good cuts.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Trav.
No, this is, my second favorite episode, and kind of tied for first. But really, it's because the animation's great, but this is the best story out of the 9 episodes, in my opinion.
I agree. I
it's-
can agree with you on that, man.
Bro, it's just
It was
It's
emotional.
just common, Vin Diesel family vibes.
Hey, take it.
Bro,
Whoa,
you know what I mean?
come on, man.
That's just what it is. It's family.
Yeah.
love it.
Oh,
And when you on leveling up with Benjamin Banks, it's family.
It's like
Yeah.
Olive Garden. Hey, you see, your boy, he was like, I don't care what you do, you're still my daughter, and I'm gonna bring you home.
That's
And
right.
She won't trying to hear that.
I mean,
Hey, but Lot trying to bring her home. Lop said, "I'ma bring her
gonna
home."
save her.
Yeah.
What story is that? So she's pretty much pulling Naruto.
I was gonna say the same thing. He's the Sasuke to her Naruto. Yeah.
yep.
Mhm. I'll save her no matter what. I don't care how many people she kills.
Yeah. hey, it took Naruto a little bit longer to bring.
Hey,
Sasuke dusted
as
him
long
off.
as they don't show flashbacks of Lop sitting on the swing.
Hey, we need that swing.
Everybody was laughing.
Need that swing.
Woo! Oh man, but yeah. So now this brings us to the final episode, and this was done by Science Saru, and this was Akakiri, and this was the episode that I was gonna say is my least favorite out
Same
of all
here.
the 9 episodes.
Same here.
I thought it was just pretty straightforward. Actually, it was just a closing. It was just like, yeah, Trav.
It was okay, but
Yeah, it was just like it was kind of like the Thor episode
it's like I was kind of confused at the end. Like I had to rewind it a couple of times to
get it.
to get, because it's like they had the people captured, and then he ended up killing his love interest, and then it's kind of similar to episode 3 where Palpatine had told Anakin through the dark side of the Force, you can bring people back to life, which we never saw in any of the Star Wars movies, and then we see it in this, and he's just like, I did what I had to do, and he brought this girl back to life,
And then he leaves.
yeah, but and his master also told him, it's just like, I don't think that you should go there, because it's just like, if you go there, your mind might get clouded, which it did, and he ended up killing not only his girl, but he ended up killing other people too. So starting with you, Danny, what were your thoughts on this episode?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I gotta disagree. I really like this one. So basically, this one, yes, it was lower key, and the ending was a downer. But
I actually like the ending.
right, but see that's what I was gonna say.
So,
That something being a downer ending doesn't necessarily mean that I dislike it. It's just
Right.
that it was a bold choice because this is the last episode. You watch these episodes in order, you come to this one, oh boy, it's like, oh, okay. I was shocked when I saw this. So the thing that they were going for with this is that the whole time they were building it up as if it was like a Samurai Champloo kind of like group thing, got a vibe going on and everything. And like, and it was so funny. It wasn't until like about halfway through the episode that I read the description and I was like, oh, okay. So he's going the Anakin route where he's like in love with this girl, but he's not supposed to be and and stuff. But basically, what I found so interesting was that he kept having that vision and it looked like he was killing one of the guards. And I'm like, why is he freaking out about this? Like, what's going on? So, they pulled the classic, like, okay, we're gonna take one of our hostages. You know how on the Dark Knight, how the Joker dressed up the hostages as right. So they pulled that and then threw her in there so that he attacked everybody and killed her. But the whole time he did it, he was doing it in defiance of his destiny because he's like, screw destiny. I'm going to win this. I'm going to survive. But the whole thing was about you can't escape destiny. So in his attempt to escape destiny, he fulfilled his dark destiny that he wanted to avoid. It's that saying, the more you want to try to get away from something, the closer it gets to you, or something like that. But so I actually appreciated that it was such a dark ending. It was incredible to see the actual ability to bring someone back to life for the first time in Star Wars, and then I remembered The Rise of Skywalker, so never mind. But sorry. But I really liked it. I thought the performances from everyone were really strong in this one, and I thought the samurai styled, Shogun styled rather, Sith Lord was really interesting, and just it was really good. It was a very spiritual and like kind of like trippy kind of episode, and especially towards the end. And I appreciated it a lot. It wasn't like the others. It wasn't fun and rambunctious like most of the other ones were, but there was something meaningful. It sort of showed you the tragedy that can be in the world of Star Wars, about how destiny, if your destiny sucks in Star Wars, it's gonna suck. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
D?
I actually like the conclusion of this, and I think it would help this story's case if, in fact, we do get a continuation of each one. Like, where does he go from now? He brings her back for the second time we've seen, and in Star Wars, that is. And it's like, does she go after him and try and bring him back? I mean, there's a lot you can still do with this story, and I thought he was a cool character, but it was just like I wasn't really not having this. I guess if you had to put this at the end, was the best place to put a story like this. I kind of get it as a falling action, kind of. It was okay. It was okay, just okay. So
it was okay. It's just,
I mean, I think that it would help if it did get a part 2 and a part 3, a story, an actual story. Everything isn't going to go over well when less time, sometimes you need more to justify what you're doing,
just like
to get your point across. Yeah. Some of them, some can go straight to the can, baby. Trav?
Well, stories are subjective, right? So what connects with you may not connect with me and vice versa.
Yeah.
My main issue with this whole thing is the resurrection, right? That's when they lost me, because the resurrection in Star Wars is supposed to be like the highest achievement that somebody using the Force can try to achieve.
Yeah.
And it's something you're not really supposed to be able to do. And I mean, that's pretty much why we got Darth Vader. Anakin turned into Darth Vader, because he's chasing this thing to keep her safe. That's why I didn't like it. It's like, who is this person and how are they able to resurrect this chick?
Yeah.
But if this was real, she would be like the strongest Sith Lord ever. Yeah. But she's just some random chick. She's a random shogun. So I just didn't like that decision. I was like, what the hell?
But wasn't it in episode 3 the reason why Anakin wasn't able to save Padme because he wasn't strong enough?
No, because Palpatine can't. He lied. He can't do it.
Oh, okay.
So what's it called? That he was just using his emotions to get what he wanted at him.
And then, just like this guy, Anakin was the reason Padme died. Because,
Right.
I mean, I know they say she lost the will to live, but when you get your windpipe crushed by your husband, that's...
She died from broken heart.
Right.
There's an old saying, you know, they say, don't go looking for trouble. Trouble will... No, don't go looking for trouble. Trouble will find you.
Right.
And this is a classic example. If he had just stayed where he was and just stayed away, things. I mean, yeah, he would have ended up where he ended up, but she wouldn't have died.
Yeah.
And then he wouldn't have resurrected her, and then Trav wouldn't have hated her. You know what I'm saying? It's just,
I didn't hate it because the story was good up until the resurrection.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, Trav. I was like,
He should have just been dead.
Yeah.
And, you know, now he bows down to her and becomes her apprentice.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the resurrection. It really killed it for me because I can't even believe Disney signed off on it, but they've signed off on some other stuff.
Hey, take it easy,
so
Trav. I know it. Going down the dark side. You
Whoa.
it's a tired thing, man. But yeah, with that being said, that's it. That's it. You know, thank you guys for all giving your opinions on each episode and whatnot. For me, you know, my favorite episodes was the twins, Lop and Ocho, and the Ninth Jedi. Trav, I'll ask you, which 3 were your favorite?
That's right. Well, you know, just to mirror you know, it's the twins and Lop and Ocho. They can flip-flop either way. But then the third one's the duel. And I don't know if it's because I really can't wait for this book to come out. And, you know, I'm just super interested in what they're doing. And also, the duel episode had a reprise of Duel of the Fates, if anybody noticed that.
Yes, it did!
It was fire, dude. I was like, holy shit, this is fire.
Yeah.
So... yeah, and something else I want to just bring up because y'all keep talking about continuing these stories. I don't necessarily believe they need to be continued in animation, though. You know, there's so much stuff in comics that happens in books, and I just don't think we necessarily need more episodes.
I get what you're saying on that.
I'm all for the comics.
So I just want to say this. It labels it as season 1 specifically, right. So I'm pretty confident there's gonna be.
Well, what is the Netflix show that we review?
No, that's what I was gonna bring up. Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah, they do the same thing. Like, there's multiple seasons, but there's not all.
There's
stories
no episodes from
they're
season 1 that continue into season 2.
Okay,
but I would be down for them to continue some of the episodes. I don't think. I don't think each same thing like with Marvel What If. It's just like, I don't think that every episode from season
I talk
1,
about that show enough, man. Let's talk about that.
Woo! But AD, what were your favorite 3?
Number 1 is gonna be the Ninth Jedi.
Okay.
Number 2 is probably gonna be the Duel, and number 3 is gonna be the Elder.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Easy.
Cool.
I mean, I love the stories. They were. You know, I will say, I'll give them credit. Their ability, like their level of misdirection is very fun in this. And I think Star Wars is obviously one of those things where the more you can pull off the misdirection card, it just plays to your favor. It always has for them. Well, in the original Star Wars stuff. But I don't know what they were doing with the new Luke stuff, whatever that stuff is. Yeah, it's fun. I'm looking forward to it. I do think that because most of these stories are cliffhangers, the likelihood we'll see these characters in another story is, I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. So, Danny?
Danny?
I love that these were all original stories and original characters. I thought that was really great.
Right.
Yeah, it's fun to see them expand.
Right, you know, because there's a lot in Legends and that they could incorporate, they could bring in, but they gave the studios the right to just make totally new stuff and take inspiration from the originals. To answer your question, my top 3, number 1 is the twins. It's crazy awesome Star Wars. I love it. I love Gurren Lagann, so it's easy. Second is the Ninth Jedi. And third is hard, but I'm probably going to go with... Damn.
I have a feeling I know what you're going to say.
Lop and Ocho.
Okay.
Yeah. I was really torn. I wanted to pick the Duel, but I really like love an Ocho a lot. But yeah, it was just really incredible. The actors all did a great job. Michael Sinterniklaas did a great job directing everybody. He had A-list talent in here, and just the casting was just really excellent. You could tell everyone is having a great time doing this. I mean, it's Star Wars, like it's legendary. And just like you were saying, D, like Star Wars, it's so ingrained into American culture, at least, that we know like what a Star Wars story is going to be, right? And then when you have something like the Ninth Jedi happen, with this plot, you're like, what?
Could you imagine that going off on the big screen?
Right?
People would be going crazy.
Hey,
Well, I think we're ahead of that.
that's how the trilogy should have been.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Come on.
I agree. And just the twins, I mean, like, can you imagine if they ever do like a lightsaber duel like that?
Yeah,
like
over
with
the top. Yeah,
right? Like that. Can our special effects even do it? Yeah, they can do it. But like, it's like that for me. Like, I'm a kid. You give me huge explosions and crazy awesome, and I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
They'll have your boy Michael Bay direct that.
How did you know I like Transformer? How did you know that?
And I wish I would have brought it over with me on video, but this month they released their first original manga, Edge of Balance, by Justine Ireland. So
Trav, did you get it?
Huh?
Did you get it?
Yeah, of course I got it. Come on, bro.
Where's it?
I wish I would have brought it on video with me. It's back in my
stash?
In my stash or whatever.
Like
but
that.
it's its first original, manga story, and they're really trying to bring Star Wars into,
they need to.
Japanese.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, bro,
Like with
honestly,
all
I've been seeing
the
that with a lot of things. Like they've been doing that with video games too. Like Legend of Zelda has a manga, and then they've also been doing that
Monster
with
Hunter.
other Disney properties. Like there's a Frozen manga out there.
Wow.
And
that's interesting. Well, her powers, in all fairness, she's a pretty sweet character, actually.
Elsa.
Whatever the ice,
sure.
Elsa, yeah, she's sweet. But yeah,
I
what
know
was I gonna say?
Star Wars is so natural to bring over. I mean, it's inspired by Japanese media, so it's very
that's what
easy
George Lucas said.
to bring it back.
The lightsaber battles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, especially going for the prequels, he wanted it to be more like you would see in like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, compared to the original 3 movies where it's like it had that medieval, it had that medieval feel to it.
I love watching those old corny ones, man. They're so fun.
I know, it's just fun. The Darth Vader and Obi-Wan from A New Hope battle.
Yeah.
It
It's
doesn't.
nice and slow.
I swear to God, I'm not shitting on it because it's a classic. You know what I mean? We grew up on it.
But it's okay to say it's dated.
When you see the amazing lightsaber battles, I don't care what you think about the prequels. When you see those amazing lightsaber battles and then see that, you're like, well, that was boring.
Well,
Qui-Gon.
they're older now.
Yeah. Qui-Gon and
Obi-Wan's an old man. Like he don't.
Yeah.
You know?
Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan versus Maul is like the greatest.
Oh, yeah, that was sick.
Yeah.
That's the greatest one.
Me personally, I really like General Grievous and stuff. What they did with that character
when
himself.
He fought Obi-Wan, incredible.
Yeah, that was dope too.
Yes.
And
then you got Darth Tyrannus versus Obi-Wan and Anakin. That was
and the Count Dooku and Yoda. When Yoda's flipping everywhere.
When he hit my boy Anakin with the force push under the arm.
Yeah.
Took his arm off. Just said move. That was sick. Absolutely sick.
Well, I mean, just rounding it out. Like,
and I loved his lightsaber. It was
the
pretty
fight
sick.
between Obi-Wan and Anakin and the third movie. Like it was dope.
Oh, of course,
it's legendary.
That one was really good.
He said, honestly, "Don't do it."
Like all of the lightsaber fights and all of the prequels were really good. I mean,
of course.
Hands down. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up because we're over an hour. But I'm hoping that everybody that watches,
we had a special guest. Danny gives us a plus 30.
Yeah, Danny, hey,
you know what I'm saying? Roll that dice.
I wanted to surprise you guys.
Baby.
I hit
It's
Danny
the
up early in the
girls.
week.
Yes.
I'm
That
glad
crit
Danny
roll.
was able to come up here and do this with us because whenever we have Danny up here, it's always a fun time. So, Danny, thank you so much for joining us. And before we let you go, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
I have to look at my Twitter. My Twitter, Danny K Voice. I think that's what it's called. I'm terrible, I know. But yeah, you can finally find me mostly on Twitter. Danny Kramer VO, that's what it is. Jeez. And I got my Danny Shack 27 Instagram. I got that too. So yeah, you can follow me on there. You can hear me on Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and some other stuff that you'll be seeing coming out soon. So yeah, all right.
Hell
You
yeah.
can't say
Hell
it,
yeah.
but make sure you follow them so that way
Yeah, follow
when it
them.
does come out, you'll know where to find it at. Trav, let them know
Hey,
they can find you at the social media land.
Of course, I'm on the Instagram at ZK Audio. I'm also on the Twitter at TRAVIOSCK, and that's also where you can find me on Letterboxd and check out all of my movie reviews and my 2021 rankings. D, where they gonna find you at?
And as always, thank you for listening today, everybody, and watching, I guess. And you
Man,
can
got
find me
proper
at
all of a sudden.
hey, and you can find me at rebellious_D23 Instagram.com. And Banks, of course. Hey, they're looking for Benjamin and Banks episode. Tell them where they're gonna find you at.
You can find me, your hero Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you again for watching this review. Make sure you let us know in the comments what you thought about each and every episode, and let us know what your rating is for it. And guys, I forgot to ask you this, and make it quick. Trav, overall rating for Vision season 1.
Dude, of
He
course,
messed
10
me
out of
up.
10 out of 10.
10.
It's the greatest. It's the greatest animation they've ever done. Bro.
All right, D.
10 out of 10. I'm riding with Trav.
All right, Danny.
11 out of 10. Come on.
Dang, so,
Wow.
so that's three.
Got
That's
a
three
one-upper.
10s and an 11. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Make sure you check out all of our other stuff. Like I always say, keep that pinky up. Stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks.
Or stay negative.
No, never. Stay positive. Light side.
Oh, God. Well
Say
done,
it,
guys.
D. Say
Yeah.
it. I'll never be just.
I'll never be just a memory. Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.